Welcome back to Mets Daily. I'm Jake Brown. Hit that thumbs up on the video, hit that subscribe button, and go follow me and subscribe to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. I want to start today's show just with a message. Sometimes I get a little deeper when I talk about whatever I'm talking about in the world and life, and I want you to just be kind to people. Say something kind. Check in on your loved one. Check in on your friends. Check in on someone you meet at a restaurant. If it's this total stranger, just check in with people and be nice to people. You never know what someone is going through. And I see so much, especially online, vitriol and name calling and cursing people out. And I get it. You could say whatever you want. But I think there's too much crude, too much rude going on in the world right now. And I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. And I think people just need to be nicer to people. The other day, I lost someone that I knew, Dr. John. Shout out to Dr. John. That's what we called him. His name is John. An American whiskey regular. American whiskey bar I go to, my buddy Kevin owns, and right around the corner from the Garden. And, I had saw Dr. John a few weeks ago. My buddy saw him the night before, and then the next morning passed away out of nowhere. So, and he was always the kindest person, was always had a smile on his face. Couple weeks ago, I didn't know he was sick. He didn't say anything. And gone at the age of, I believe, 48. So gone way too soon. So rest in peace to Dr. John. And again, just you never know what someone's going through. Make sure you just check in on people. You never know how it can make them feel and feel better. So I know I just went on a long tangent there, but just wanted to say rest in peace to Dr. John, a great guy, and, check in on your loved ones. All right, let's get to the show now. You're watching Mets Daily. I'm Jake Brown. The WBC is now set. USA has advanced thanks to the Italians. And as someone who is Italian, how could you not be happy about that? You get USA and Italy, and the bracket is set. It'll be USA versus Canada on Friday. That'll be in Houston. The Dominican Republic versus Korea. Then you get Puerto Rico versus Italy on Saturday, and Venezuela versus Japan on Saturday. So the brackets are all now set. USA Dominican Republic, obviously the matchup I think we're all hoping for. If, now it's single elimination. If the USA beats Canada, if DR beats Korea, you get USA versus DR. And then, it sets up for a potential DR versus Japan final. But we'll see. I think that's probably what the favorites would say would be Japan versus DR. That's how it's going to end up. USA getting in on a technicality with a tiebreaker. What can you do? Mark DeRosa, we talked about it yesterday. I'm not going to talk about it again, but USA they got a tough deck here. Canada's not going to be easy. DR, if DR moves on, which we expect them to, they look unreal right now. But you get to see Clay Holmes and Nolan McLean for USA. You get to see Juan Soto and Huascar Brazaban for Team DR. Brazaban striking out 3 last night. Soto hitting another home run. I mean, that plays electric again in the first inning. That DR team is so fun to watch. And again, we talked about it. You see it with the fellow countrymen and how hyped up they are. And, I saw someone tweet about this, about, they should bring that into the season, the jackets, the vibes. It's hard when it's 162 games and you have a bunch of guys you don't know as well or they're not from your country. But I do hope the Mets bring something, whether it's a jacket or something that's not the selfie in front of the camera again. Some team-centric thing where each player that homers, when they get in the dugout, they put on a jacket. They maybe not get in the cart because that could get dangerous, but have a jacket, have a hammer, have something that unites the team. I think the Mets need that. And I know it sounds corny and dumb. It's like, who cares about a jacket and a hammer? But 2024 Mets, the vibes were off the charts. It was that OMG sign. That's what did it. They need something to that effect to band this team together, because I think this can be a special Mets season. If the clubhouse is right and these guys play for each other, there's undoubtedly enough talent on this team for them to go places. And I think they need to take a page out of what's happening with the team DR. And I get it's two different things, playing for a country, completely different, but I'd like to see them take something away from the WBC into the regular season. They could also take Ultra, They could do that as well. Starting new routines this year and, early mornings, New Year, getting a reset. Sleep was slipping. That's why I decided to try Ultra pouches, completely nicotine-free, caffeine-free, packed with nootropics that are designed for mental clarity and enhanced focus. Same kick as a nicotine pouch, but without those side effects. Most pouches elevate cortisol, raise blood pressure, and keep your body in a constant stress rate. Ultra pouches let you keep your pouches, but with a cleaner kick. One of my biggest goals was better sleep. That's where I noticed the difference first. Falling asleep is easier. Waking up actually feeling rested. Another New Year's goal is better workouts and recovery. Nicotine disrupts that hormone balance. It can lower testosterone. And yeah, it can literally shrink your balls. Start the year off with focus, discipline, and consistency. 90% of users saw significant improvements in their overall focus levels. It's trusted by top athletes, entrepreneurs, and engineers around the world. Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use code FANARCH to get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's takeultra.com for 15% off with code FANARCH. After you purchase the last where you heard about them, please support our show. Please go right now, support our show, and tell them that Mets Daily sent you. I think the Mets should send Mark Vientos packing. And I know I've been harsh on him, and I know he was great in 2024, and I understand the Mets don't have the righty bats. You know, we're 2 weeks from opening day here. Can the Mets and Rays just make the deal already? Just get me Yandy Diaz. Enough is enough. Like, we talk about making a deal with the Pirates and going for Mitch Keller. Fine, it's good and great. The Mets have 6 starting pitchers. Like, where is Mitch Keller at the present moment going to pitch? Where does he fit into this rotation? I know where Yandy Diaz fits. Right in that DH spot. Right at that first base spot. And maybe the Rays just don't want to trade him. Maybe he's untradeable. You know, I don't have inside source. I don't know what the Rays may just not want to trade Yandy Diaz. But if I'm the Mets, I'm saying to them, we will give you Mark Vientos and a prospect, and we will take on all of Yandy Diaz's money. You won't have to eat a penny. That has to be intriguing to them. Yandy Diaz is their priciest player at $12, $13 million, which says a lot about the Rays. They may want to keep him. I get it. They're back in their stadium this year at the Trop. It's reopening in Tampa. Great place. As I said, might move there one day. But you know, there has to be something that can get done. To me, I don't have the faith right now in Mark Vientos. And not just because he has a terrible spring. I just think his confidence is shot. I just think he's just a different player than that 2024 guy that we saw. So let me know in the comments, will he make the opening day roster, and should the Mets consider trading him? You know, I think if he is not traded, I think he makes the opening day roster just for the fact that they don't have the righty bats. And that's where I'm a little bit frustrated. That's where I think the Mets fell a little bit short, is getting that bench righty bat. Like, it can't be Vidal Brujan, is it? Like, is it going to be Vidal Brujan? That could be the guy that makes the last spot. But, you know, it's just a tough situation. Because, again, Ronnie Mauricio is going to need every day at bats in AAA. So I don't know what the Mets are going to do. I think Vientos makes it, but I still think they're trying to trade him. He's certainly not helping his value, though, right now. One guy trying to make the roster as well is Craig Kimbrell. You know, Craig Kimbrell is an interesting spot. There are multiple guys fighting for those roster spots. I think Luis Garcia is probably going to make it. AJ Minter's not ready yet, which might leave room for Kimbrell to make it. But Huascar Brazoban's fighting for a spot. The Mets are going to be in an interesting position here with Craig Kimbrell, but I think Craig Kimbrell has a real good shot. With a couple more good innings in spring, I think Craig Kimbrell is going to make this roster. And to me, I think it would be fascinating if he does. You know, right now, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Brooks Raley, Luis Garcia, those are the sure things. Tobias Myers, sure thing. And likely Huascar Brazoban. But with waiting for AJ Minter, Kimbrell should get that spot. And then the Mets can go from there. If they're a couple weeks in, Kimbrell's ready, they could evaluate. They could say, Brazoban hasn't looked great. We're going to send him down. I think the Mets will have options. But I would like to see, for the sake of storyline and for the sake of success, Craig Kimbrell make this roster. Let us know in the comments below. Do you want Craig Kimbrell on the opening day roster? All right, let's read a couple of your comments from yesterday's show. Ivan says, Jake, your analysis is always balanced and on point. Scott looks ready. Want Lindor to take an extra week. Benj looks ready. Appreciate it, Yvonne. Yeah, listen, I think Christian Scott needs starts in AAA, so you're going to see him this year, but after not pitching for a year, he's going to be in AAA at least for 2 months. Yeah, I mean, Lindor, Lindor's going to fight. Like, if Lindor says he's ready, they're going to put him out there. They're not going to give him an extra week just to give him the extra week. If Lindor's like, I'm good to go, he's played through, a broken toe. Like, he'll play through it. Orfeo Ball says, talking about Team Italia, what would it take to get Vinny Pasquantino in a Mets uniform? He's raking 3 homers versus Mexico. Yeah, the Italian stallion. I believe he signed a long-term deal with the Royals, so unfortunately that won't happen, but love Vinny Pasquantino. Good Twitter follow as well. Really funny on Twitter. That's the kind of personality you would love in your clubhouse. But unfortunately, I believe he's locked in long-term with Kansas City. Dan Trippioli says, if Vientos isn't an everyday bat, he'll never be his former self. And that's my worry with him. He got very frustrated. Remember last year he made comments of, I'm not getting the playing time. Well, bro, how about you start hitting? If you're not fielding, you're not running, you need to hit. And when Vientos is not hitting, what is he? He's nothing. He's just a right-handed bat. I just don't know if it's worth keeping a right-handed bat just to have a right-handed bat off the bench if he's not going to hit. But yeah, if he's playing once, twice a week, and he's not hitting them once or twice a week, he's going to work his way off this team. Michelangelo said, no one in the right mind would have traded Vientos after 2024. You're right, but that's when his value is highest. But I agree. It's hard to just say, yeah, I would have traded him. Cool Dude said, DeRosa left that reliever in too long in 2023. That cost them the game. Team USA should have brought him back in 2026. Yeah, I mean, DeRosa will not be the WBC manager for USA next WBC. I think he has earned his way off this team. James Fulmer, I love Mark V, but his defense has never been great. If the Mets don't trade him now, they're in trouble. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what his value is. We'll see. Mo Ron for Life said, Mark DeRosa should just step down as manager after that complete joke of a comment. Which one was it? Did you misread the calculations or did you misspeak? Either way, to not know you needed to win that game last night to get in the knockout round without any help is a complete embarrassment for all of USA baseball. Yeah, listen, I don't think that was great for him. It's not a good look. Once every couple of years, you need to know those simple things. Mikal Mark says Mike Talkman is garbage. I disagree. He's a 360 on base guy. The Mets had one of those, and that was Juan Soto. All right, last one from Ivan. At 25, Vientos at 17 homers, Beatty 18 wides. Percent of Beatty is a great future, and Vientos is washed out. Maurice is more talented than both of them. Well, Ivan, the perception is that because Beatty only hits, and when he doesn't hit, he is nothing. Vientos only hits. Beatty plays every position. Beatty plays around the diamond, and we haven't seen all around the diamond, but we're going to see it this year. Vientos couldn't sniff playing the outfield or any position outside of third or first. So I think the flexibility and the fact that Beatty has some speed is the difference. Vientos is slow as molasses, and he's not a good on-base guy. Remember, Mark Vientos might have hit you 17 homers, but look at his on-base and look at his average. Wasn't very good. I do agree that I like Mauricio's talent above all of them whenever he gets that chance. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Mets Daily. I'm Jake Brown. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Friday.